Why is it that some people are able to make a Shopify store, run some ads, and then immediately get sales, and then do that process over and over again and still be successful, while other people struggle to get even their first profitable sale? In this video, I'm gonna open up your eyes to this one simple skill that you may not notice exists right now. And when you do, you'll start having these light bulbs moments in your head, which will help you not only grow richer, but also become more famous at the same time. And okay, like, is that too big of a claim to say? Well, I'm gonna let you decide after the end of this video because I want you to judge by yourself. Now look, we can all agree for a fact, those people who are always being successful with their Shopify stores, or the people who are becoming rich and famous online, they're both not doing it by accident. They're doing it with a strategy that builds their content around this one copywriting element that if you perfect it, then you're left with literally no choice but to build a massive following and influence. So then what's this copywriting element? In fact, I don't even like calling it an element because basically it's a whole skill in of itself. And that skill is coming up with big ideas consistently, like literally over and over again. In my opinion, this is literally one of the most important skills to master when you're first starting out. Remember, you know how we say attention equals money? Well, the big idea is what's going to allow you to captivate people's attention and as a result make money. Without the big idea, you'll get literally zero attention. And once you do this right, you'll be able to build an army of influence. So if you literally nail this element, you'll notice that you can build TikTok pages easily, grow YouTube accounts easily, even freaking writing top selling books, and also build Shopify stores that consistently generate you profits. And I'll prove it to you right now. Well, I'll prove it to you right now. I'll show you some case studies that you better be paying attention to right now, because I'm telling you, this is what's going to take your marketing to a whole other level. And by the way, none of this is my ideas. Like, trust me, I'm not this original guy. I have studied the top copywriters and also the modern copywriters of today, and I've learned all this stuff from them. One of those people is Tej Dosa, which you can find him on Twitter because he's literally very smart in all of this stuff that I'm talking about right now. So make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. But anyway, right now, let me blow your mind, okay? Now, the first case study we have is books. And trust me, this is going to relate to Shopify dropshipping, so just pay attention, okay? Now look, what are the top 5 selling books in this whole business market? So the top 5 books are these, and I'm sure you've read at least one of them. So the first one is Rich Dad Poor Dad. The second one is 4-Hour Workweek. Third one is Think and Grow Rich. Fourth one, 48 Laws of Power. And last one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. But now you have to ask yourself, how did all these books become famous and become the top selling books? Like, bro, like other books might have more value, but they weren't as famous as these books right now. And I've read more books, by the way, that have more value than these top 5. But why did these top 5 become the top 5? Well, I mean, this the whole point of this video. It's because of the big idea. So all of these books are centered around one juicy big idea. So let's take, for example, the 48 Laws of Power. The idea in this book is that there are laws that if you learn, you'll basically become this powerful man, because like there's no way it won't work because they're literally laws. Think and Grow Rich claims that you can become rich just by your thoughts alone. So that's a very beautiful idea. And what's interesting is How to Win Friends and Influence People. In the past, the book was called something like Effective Speaking and Influence Men in Business, or just something boring, right? And the thing is, it struggled to sell in the beginning. But then these two copywriters came and they changed the name to How to Win Friends and Influence People, and they didn't change anything else in the book. And what happened is that this book went on to sell millions, and that's why you know it right now. And again, the only reason is just because of the big idea. So that is the power of the big idea. The second case study I want to show you is YouTube. And again, trust me, this relates to dropshipping. Just keep listening, okay? Now, how many of you have heard of this guy named Mr. Beast back in 2012? Well, okay, maybe like a few of you, but not many, of course. But like, bro, like, why is that? Like, in 2012, he was still making videos. So why didn't you know about him at that time? Well, it's because he wasn't using big ideas. And the only reason why now he's like blowing up so hard is because he's using big ideas. So now you look at all of his videos and they're literally just a bunch of big ideas, bro. And this is so important to the point that he himself, he was like,
the idea is so freaking important. Theoretically, most YouTubers watching this, you could pull triple the views with half the work if you just had better ideas. And so once you realize how important an idea is, you just obsess over, well, how do I get more ideas? How to get better ideas? I used to just spend an hour every day brainstorming ideas, probably like 4 years, just say a random word.
Dog.
I adopted 100 dogs. Right. I gave my friend 50 dogs. I gave a dog $1 million for dog treats, whatever. So I take in random words. I see what pops in my head. I write those down.
If he's doing that, then like, why aren't you? But also keep in mind, this doesn't mean that you don't fulfill on the video, because like the big idea is the first part of it, which is like the seed of the entire video, or anything else for that matter. But then the fulfillment part has to still be good. And so he mastered both. But if it wasn't for the big idea, he can literally have the best video, but it'll get no attention. So let's look at another YouTuber. So this channel is called Inventor 101. And it's actually one of the fastest growing YouTube channels right now. And for a reason too. So if you look at their videos, literally all of the titles and thumbnails are big ideas. And like, does the guy even show his face? Like, you've never seen the guy's face. It's just big ideas and that's it. So the guy just takes big ideas and makes videos about them. And because of that, he's blowing up. Like, this guy is not blowing up because he's famous. No one knows how this guy looks like. The only reason why he's blowing up is just because of the big ideas, bro. So another example is this woman right here. Her name is Katie Morton. So she's one of the fastest growing YouTube channels right now. And one is because she she got into a niche that's becoming very popular right now, which is the mental health niche. So we already know this market has a lot of people in it and people are like buying in it. But then if she didn't come up with big ideas and make videos about them, then she wouldn't start blowing up like she's doing it right now. So for example, one of her videos is called 4 Things Not to Say to Your Therapist, which is such a nice idea because it's like, well, I'm supposed to be opening up to my therapist, so what am I not supposed to tell him or her? And that's why that video is getting lots of views currently right now. And if you look at all her other videos that are doing very well, you can see it's just such a nice big idea. And this actually reminds me, there was basically this ad all the way back in the day, and it was titled, What Never to Eat in an Airplane. And that was so good because it makes you think, it's like, what am I not supposed to be eating in an airplane? And that ad was literally the most opened ad for 3 years, bro, which just shows you power of this whole big idea thing. And by the way, the whole ad was just saying that you should never drink coffee on an airplane, just because like the people in the airplane, most of them, they never clean the coffee machine for some reason, so just never drink it. Yeah, I actually never drank coffee in the airplane. They were like, do you want coffee? I was like, no, because it hurts your stomach, even though my stomach got hurt anyway. But anyway, I strongly recommend you going through all these channels and seeing exactly why certain videos are blowing up. Because trust me, this will help in your dropshipping. And especially go through Mr. Beast channel, because Mr. Beast right now is literally like a big idea machine. Like if he existed back in the day when people were just writing mail ads and he was a copywriter, he'd be like the most sought after copywriter of all time. Anyway, so the third case study is podcasts. And look, like I'm showing you all this different stuff, and like I know it's not dropshipping, right? But you need to understand these are different platforms, but the point is the same. So dropshipping is no different because I'm teaching you big ideas. I'm not teaching you dropshipping. You take this whole big idea skill and you move it to whatever you want, and you'd see you'd find success in it. So for podcasts, most people think that you just have to come in, make a podcast that's called something like the Tim Ferriss Show or the James Altucher Show. But why will that not work for you? Well, one, it's working for these people because these people are already famous. So if I come and I make a podcast that's called the Mohammed Show, it's not going to do as well. Although it might, because my name is after the Prophet, peace be upon him. But it won't do well because like, what the heck? I'm still not that famous. Although I'm sure if I use this whole big idea stuff, I might become famous. I don't know. Even though that's not what I want, but whatever. So if you're unknown, you have to call your podcast something like this, My First Million Podcast. And basically, it's about these two people who are showing how they made their first million. Or another name is this podcast called The Real AF Podcast by Andy Frisella. And the big idea of that podcast is 75 Hard, because that's literally what he talks about all the time. Or this other podcast called We Study Billionaires Podcast, which is a podcast for investors of these people just interviewing billionaires all the time. So you see, stop focusing on who you are and focus more on who your target market is. And then what big idea to use to captivate that target market's attention. And bro, even you right now, like you're watching this video because the title of this video is Make Your First $1,000 Online with This One Skill. So that's a big idea in of itself. And like, I hope I've been fulfilling on that so far. Now for Shopify stores, there are a few examples of people doing exactly this. The first one is actually my store. So I ran this makeup store last year, and basically I came into the market and I was just making $3,000 to $5,000 a month comfortably. But I'm like, wait, that's so little. It's not really paying for anything. So what I did was I realized that my big idea was not good enough. So I changed the entire big idea. So instead of just marketing the makeup as something like, oh, just get this and you'll look more beautiful and all that stuff, I started marketing it differently. So I came in and I was like, you can make $3,000 to $5,000 a month by selling this makeup, because that's what makeup artists do. And people were like, what? So at the time, I was selling these makeup things that I can't really say exactly what. I was getting them for $10 and I was selling them for $60. And I was able to do that just because I had a big idea. And the thing is, the thing was very profitable, but it was actually so sad at the same time because I kept getting banned from Facebook and Google every single time. So I wasn't able to continue that store. But that's an example of what a big idea can do to your whole dropshipping store. So you can literally take a mediocre product and just turn it into gold. And bro, like I think I jinxed myself at the time because I was like, damn, I'm selling a $10 product for $60. And I also had this other variation where I was selling a $60 product for $200. So anytime I got a sale from that product, I was like, okay, I'm done for the day. And bro, that was such bad attitude at the time. But anyway, that's an example of a big idea for a dropshipping store. Another example of a Shopify store doing numbers is this store. And I'm pretty sure you've seen this, by the way. But there is this store that's selling bracelets for $20. And based on their traffic, they're making a minimum $300,000 a month in revenue. And we can see that that's true because they're getting at least 400,000 visitors a month. But the way they're selling these bracelets is they're saying buying one bracelet means you're pulling 1 pound of trash from the ocean. And that's their big idea. And clearly it's doing numbers. But anyway, another store is called Jazzercise. And basically it's just a product that can help you lose fat on your face and make your face slimmer. And their big idea is this: we train every muscle in our body and yet we neglect the most valuable area, which is our face. So use this product to train all 57 plus muscles in your face to get a slimmer and a more attractive face. And as a result, they're making a minimum $200,000 in profit a month. And we know that because they're getting around that number in visitors a month. And usually traffic and revenue are usually a 1-to-1 ratio. So you can estimate that they're making that much. And that's the worst case scenario too, because because there's not a single person on earth that would try to bring this much traffic to their store if they're not profitable. But bro, like, do you get me? I'm not saying neglect the fulfillment part, because if you look at the Jazzercise website, they went super hard on the testimonials and copy, which is what you should do too as well. But the only reason people are going to their landing page in the first place and reading it is because of the big idea. If the big idea wasn't there, they won't be able to captivate the target market's attention and keep them on the page. So remember, the big idea will grab people's attention, and as a result, attention equals money. And without the big idea, there's no attention, and as a result, there's just no money. Okay, so now what's my advice to create a big idea? Now I have a few things that you should do, and the very first thing that you should do is every single day, write down 10 ideas a day. Now it doesn't matter if these ideas are bad or good. It doesn't matter. You just want to exercise the big idea muscle. Because look, I once saw this video of Mr. Beast, and he was like, I have this Excel sheet of all the ideas that we wrote. And it was like over 1,000 ideas, bro. Like, that's actually insane. So that's the very first thing you need to do, which is exercise your big idea muscle. And bro, trust me, you have to do this. Like, some people are going to tell them this stuff, but they don't do it. Like, what the heck? I'm literally giving you the sauce. The second exercise, though, that you should be doing is, this thing has been written in most copywriting books. And basically, it's like this. So you picked your niche, right? Like, you know what product you want to sell. You know who you're going to sell it to, like the target market. What you now need to be doing is go on YouTube, go on Amazon, go on forums and Reddit, and basically take as much information about this whole market as possible. And basically write this stuff down. So for 4 hours straight, sit down and do as much research where your brain is literally going to become fried. Once it's fried, write down a few big ideas that you think are going to do good. Now listen, they might be bad, but that's fine, because you're not going to be using these at all. But you just have to be writing them down, okay? And then once you've done all of that, leave the work and go outside. Like, go outside, go play video games, go on freaking social media, scroll. But the entire point is that you dissociate from the work right now. So forget about all the work, because you've already done all the work. And what's basically happening is that you're allowing your subconscious to put all this information into the blender, and it'll blend just by itself without you doing anything. And what's going to happen eventually is that while you're doing this non-related stuff to work, at some point, something's going to come to your brain, and that is going to be the big idea. And bro, I've done this myself too with the whole makeup store. Like, I remember I did so much research first about the entire market, and then I was just sitting playing chess with my friends, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute, that's the big idea. And so like, I went and wrote the entire sales page, and it started getting sales. So that's what you need to be doing. This process works. It might seem like it's too simple, but trust me, it works. Like, the top copywriters, they all do this. And this is just utilizing the subconscious power of your brain and putting it into use. But this is what a big idea can do. Now listen, the big idea is important, but the fulfillment part is also important. So what I recommend you do is just click on this video here, because this video is going to show you how to start dropshipping with $0. And basically it takes care of the part that's about fulfillment. And I'm not talking about product fulfillment. I'm talking about how to make the store, how to make the ads using the big idea. Do you know what I mean?